Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Monday, the 8th day of January 2024. Well, I've started this once, and I've been having problems if I don't reboot from time to time. I, when I'm watching myself here on the screen videoing this, um, everything's jumpy and it doesn't stay smooth. I'll keep talking, but the video freezes a little bit and then it'll start again. And it doesn't seem to work itself out when it's processing. So I just went ahead and I'm starting over, and I was almost done with the reading. So I'm going to keep everything that I have because I think it's a good reading for today. But we'll just start over here and redo it. But again, I'm not going to change what I have because my head's in it. So anyhow, if I hope you're staying warm. If it's snowing where you are, we woke up to it snowing this morning. We've had a couple of mornings where it's dusted a little bit overnight, but it doesn't stick. Well, it sticks for a while and then it goes away, except in the shaded areas. But then we woke up this morning and it's snowing. I think there's maybe a half inch out there, maybe not quite. But hopefully it doesn't get any worse. Hopefully there's no deluge. But supposedly we're in this middle of blizzards in the mountains, and we're at 3,000 feet above sea level in the high desert. And so technically, that would, you look at Mount Hood, you get to the summit there, and it's I think in the 3 or 4,000 range there. And so I don't know. We could get quite a bit of snow, or maybe not. Maybe it'll just stay in the mountains, I hope. Anyway, so if you're getting the same, if you're inundated with it, stay warm and stay inside and, keep your travel to a minimum. Sometimes there's crazy people out there that don't know how to drive in the snow, and they always want to get everywhere super fast, and then you see them turned over on their tops. It's just ridiculous. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started again for this and take a look at the Elder Futhark rune for the As Above side, the soul side of things. This is Nathis. Nathis is one of 3 Norn runes in the Elder Futhark. You've got Hagalaz, which is the 9th rune. That's the rune of the past. It's also the witch rune. It's literally transformation, but within a fixed framework. So it's not really, kind of looks like the letter H, but instead of a straight across line, it goes at an angle. Basically, you're not really, you're transforming things, but you're not destroying everything completely and building anew. One of the keywords for it is hail, and so when hail falls, it falls in various sizes, and it can cause damage, But then later it's evaporated, it's melted, it's gone, and so it's like here and there, and it leaves some transformation in its wake. And depending on how big it is, it can be a lot of damage, that's quite transforming, especially to your pocketbook if you don't have adequate insurance for such things, But Nathis, the next one, this is 10. This is the 10th rune, so that's the next one. This is the rune of the future. Isa would be the other one. That's the 11th rune of the Elder Futhark. That's the rune of the static realm, or the present moment. So whereas Hagalaz can transform things right then and then disappear, leaving the transformation in its wake, Isa aligns everything into a concentrated focus. So you could say that Hagalaz breaks some of that up. Isa realigns that into a concentrated focus. You could also use it to align in spirit. If you're in a meditative state or something, you could chant that softly and help you align into your higher awareness. And then Nathis would be the rune of the future, where it transforms. It takes the will that you use to do the other 2 things, and in this case, you're transforming the future. You're manifesting a new opportunity, manifesting your will in some way. But again, from a higher perspective, not from the ego trying to control everything, not from that standpoint. That would be the below side. And for today, again, we have Fortuna Major. We had Fortuna Major for both readings last week, and Fortuna Major is greater fortune. It's kind of the outcome. And we talked last week about, although this can definitely mean, financial security, It's the outcome of something. Fortuna minor would be the process you take to get there. This is the windfall at the end, basically, the success, the manifestation of success. So you could say today, with Nathis, that you're invoking the will to manifest something that's going to be successful. But again, it doesn't have to be money related. It doesn't have to be monetary. It can be manifesting a better relationship with someone, for example, or if your family's got issues, maybe everybody comes together, let's talk all this out. You invoke your will from your own perspective to help bring everybody back together. Maybe you're the one that instigates it or something like that. It could be something like that. It could be manifesting a new level of spirituality. Whatever Fortuna major, however that resonates for you, and your situation, how this might apply. Again, at first blush, you're going to manifest new opportunities today that will be successful, is what the runes are suggesting. But again, I'm going to leave that Fortuna major open as to how you want to interpret that. Whatever you see success as being, whatever, positive outcome of something that you see. Again, it could be relationships with others. It could have to do with that. They've been, sometimes the family stuff gets to be a little crazy at times, and maybe you're just trying to settle some of that out if it's something like that. But in any event, let's go ahead and the reading itself talks about a partnership. And so, this could be manifesting a new business arrangement with somebody, or it could be a marriage. It could be something like that, that then is going to bring you some fulfillment or emotional satisfaction here with what we have with the Nine of Cups in the reading. So, but let's go ahead and start with the Page of Swords. We have the Page of Swords, the Four of Wands, and the Nine of Cups. So we have air, fire, and water missing, and sometimes that's important in a reading, is what's not there. We don't have anything from the earth element. We don't have any pentacles here today. And I don't think that we need to add another card and possibly get one. I mean, we can. In fact, let's do that at the end. Let's take one more card at the end. I didn't when I was first doing this, but it occurs to me it might define a little more specifically what Fortuna Major actually means in this reading. So let's do that. Start though with the Page of Swords. Here we have a student, a youthful person. There's 4 people contained in the court. We start with the page, move on to the knight, and finish out with the queen and the king. Excuse me. I think I'm going to need a lot of tea this morning. Anyway, I'm losing my voice. But here we see, I find the posture of this guy to be interesting. Okay. It's almost like the ground's moving under his feet. With swords, that's the air element. So you're talking intellect and movement, and also movement with water. But there's balance. There's truth. There's deception. There's in this case taking risk. With the Page of Swords, he leans into the future. He's learned some things. He's a student. Oftentimes, this might, depending on what else it's paired with, it could be giving people a message. A message is coming in from somewhere, something new that you find out about. But generally speaking, if you think in terms of the page as a student, he's essentially leaning into his future, but he's also looking toward the past, isn't he? He's taking with him all he's learned from childhood, from his parents, his teachers, his aunts and uncles, his grandparents, neighbors, whoever's been an influence in his life that he's learned something, and his own experiences as well, growing up. What he takes into, it's like when you graduate from high school and you go on to college. It's this monumental time where you've taken all you've learned, and the parents are worried and yet excited, and you got dad in tears and mom's trying to be busy and clean up, and he's hiding in the garage crying because his daughter's going off to college, and it's just the most amazing thing in the world. So you're bringing all of that with you into your new experience, where you're going to be learning about the things that are then going to guide you in the future, in your future life as an adult. Here you have a lot of clouds, so there's a lot of unknown there. But he's taking from the past what he needs as he leans into the future. to learn the things that he needs to learn. And so there's a component there in when we look at Nathes and Fortuna Major today with the Page of Swords, I think, where you're invoking the will to move on. Your Page of Swords is considered a risk taker, as I said. He's vigilant, he's intelligent, he's diplomatic, he can be petty if ill-dignified, but at the same time, it just depends on where he's placing his focus, in his intellectual focus. But generally speaking, air element people, I'm a Libra, that's an air element sign. We always want to find balance. We always want to keep things in balance. We want to know everything. And it just reminds me of wanting to take everything and just know everything about what I'm going to be doing, and then I can make the decisions I need to make, right? Gather up all the information I can. And so when you're invoking the will to succeed here, or to manifest a new opportunity, there's going to be an element of that in that, okay? Now, then enter the Four of Wands. Now, this is clearly the scene of a marriage. You see two people here holding their bouquets high. You see a crossed garlands there, two garlands, flowered garlands above, that are connecting the four poles together, and that's where underneath which they got married, right? And now they're married, and they're over on this other side of this dual line of demarcation, where it's separating one thing that happened from now their future together. So first this happened, now we're here. Or because these folks here aren't lined up to watch, I think the marriage has already taken place. You see the castle behind them. You see the arched bridge here that takes them to their new life together. So these are likely royal people. Maybe it's a prince and the new princess, or vice versa, and it's a new king and queen. But either way, they're building a new foundation with the four, a new structure for themselves, coming together in balance. You could even say that the two poles on either side represent the individual polarities, balancing the polarities within of the man and of the woman. Bringing those, getting it all, aligned, where now I'm ready to get married. So you've put in your time, you've got your education, now you're going to get married maybe. Maybe that's the Fortuna Major here today, invoking that commitment to somebody else. However, if it has to do with, say, something business related, this could just simply indicate a new partnership is forming that's going to be the foundation of whatever this invoking your will to manifest greater fortune is really all about. That's what this is going to be about. And so the only thing that I would say means that maybe it's a little bit more marriage related is when we come to the 9. And here you have a very happy, jolly fellow sitting there. His arms are crossed, but not because he's defensive. He's quite emotionally fulfilled. You see the blue drape on the wall behind. That's a very water element color. You see the 9 golden chalices above there, signifying excessive emotional happiness. So he's very fulfilled. Whatever happened, in the end, 9 is about endings about endings, completion. It's about generosity. It's also about spirituality. But at the end of the day, at the end of whatever this is, he ends up being emotionally fulfilled by it all. First doing his due diligence to learn what he needs to learn, and then coming into some kind of a commitment with somebody else, some kind of partnership, and in the end, emotionally fulfilled from it all. Now, you invoke that will, you invoke that intention to create a successful outcome. So whether this is a marriage, which it very, very well could be, the strengthening of a partnership, maybe, whether you choose to marry or to have the official ceremony or you don't, it's up to you in that regard. It doesn't change how you feel about one another, obviously. You've made that commitment to that person. Now, whether, again, it's somebody that's going to be a life partner, or whether it's somebody that's going to maybe be a business partner, where you have a good friend, where you've spent maybe your life together. You've been friends since childhood, and maybe you've always talked about what you want to do when you get older, when you grow up. And maybe you both say, yeah, let's form a business. Let's go. Maybe you like mowing lawns, and you have a little lawn mowing thing where you go around and the neighbors pay you X amount, to mow their yards for them. Later on as you keep growing, maybe your parents, both sets of parents say, hey, you guys are really good at this. You're helping them with their landscaping. Maybe you two, when you get older, you ought to open a landscaping business together, right? So it could be something like that. And the fact that he's looking to the past, there's a past influence there. Maybe that's part of it, where you're bringing someone along with you that and eventually you get into some kind of a partnership that forms some kind of that actually will help you form some kind of a union that you can then pursue new opportunities with and build your life and your emotional fulfillment that way. I mean, how many of us work at jobs where it's just a means to an end? I mean, you might like it, okay, but when someone says, well, are you emotionally fulfilled by the job? You kind of think, no. Well, what would you like to do that might bring you that? So this could be a pivotal moment for you where there's something that's gelling, but it just needs that extra impetus, that Nothi's energy to invoke the will to make that happen for you. And again, if this involves a prospective marriage partner, and that's what this is talking about, it's the same thing. There's your financial or your fortuna major, your positive outcome. You've met this person, you've built this relationship, and now you're ready to take that plunge, to invoke that will, to express that Nothi's, that inner will, to manifest what it is you want. And again, if it's a marriage, it could be that would certainly fit with Fortuna Major as well. Your greater fortune is your marriage. I've been married, this next May we'll be married 45 years. I think I can say the family we've created, our marriage and our boys and now their wives and the children and all of that, the grandchildren, to me and to my husband, that's our greatest fortune. No matter what we've done in our lives, work-wise or anything else or education-wise, what we built together is our greatest fortune. And we know that. There's no question in our minds that, and is it emotionally fulfilling? Yes, obviously. We've been married for over 44 years. So we're coming up on 45. But again, it doesn't have to be that. It could be maybe you're coming together with a partner to form a business, that an entrepreneurship of some kind. And you have a partner with that you're doing that ultimately maybe is something you've always wanted to do and this other person always wanted to do. You let go of the job you've had, and that's really, it's paying the bills, but it's okay. You like the people you work with, and for the most part it's fine, but emotional fulfillment, I don't know. And so you have this point in your life. Some people do this when they get older. They retire and suddenly they can focus on the things they really want to do. It's going to bring them emotional fulfillment. So it could be something like that, being willing to manifest something new that brings you that, and again, I just think that there's a partnership involved with this a restructuring of things where that partnership is going to help you bring that emotional fulfillment. So again, whatever it is for you today, whether it's something like a new opportunity or whether it's a marriage or whatever, or a partnership that's forming, whatever it is, I think that there's just something about invoking your will to make that happen. Then the energy is right for that to occur today and over the next few days. So anyhow, we did it and my screen didn't jump around. So I don't know, maybe I just need to reboot more often, but it just seems like I'm doing it a lot, like every week, and I never had to do that before. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you'll click subscribe if you haven't, and come back and give it a like as well if you would. That'd be cool. I'd love you to do that. And all the stuff went up for the week over on the blog over at Stepping Aside. The web address there is imsteppingaside.com. imsteppingaside.com. If you forget, just click on more below the video. It's right there. You can see the address for the websites right there. Check that out. The forecast is up for the week. There's a little astrological cheat sheet I put up about what the sun sign is, where retrogrades are. I also did a calendar for the whole month that's there. It can show you when all the different astrological changes and holidays and whatnot are there for the month of January. And then there's where the moon is and what's going on with it every day for the week, and then where the signs are, what planets are and what sign they're in. And I use the 7 sacred planets for that, although for the forecast I use a whole lot more than that. I use all the others, and then plus Black Moon Lilith and Ceres and Pallas and Vesta and Juno and all of that, all those influences as well. To sort of cast each planet I do the week's worth of information for that, and then I'll have a day. And whatever governing planet, for Sunday it's the sun, Monday it's the moon, Tuesday it's Mars, et cetera, et cetera. It'll have that focus, and it'll also have some other things the runes that I pick for the day, and the human design, what's on the human design chart for that particular planet for that day, and just bring a lot of things, and that involves the I Ching. If you've never seen that before, that's a really cool system. Human design, it's really, really cool. I like it a lot. It's very prescient because it basically uses the position of the planets in relationship to the I Ching. And I find the I Ching to just be really a valuable tool in understanding who we are and how we process our experiences. And so it's kind of a cool thing. I like it. I like doing it. And then there's also the daily correspondences for each day for the week. And again, it's going to have planetary stuff in it, as well as with the general correspondences, like whether or not, you're going to use, what you're going to use when in spell working. You've got different things you can use. You get a pendulum, and, got some dried roses, and, there's some Faden quartz, some Merkabahs. So anyway, lots of things like that are there. And then also I'm still finishing up the Exploring Tarot series. I don't know how many more left I have to do. I have a few more left, but after that, I'm not sure what I'm going to do to replace that one. So there's 4 things that go up on the blog. I post some of them over on Substack and on Medium and on Patreon. Plus these videos, I do the same. The write-ups for them I put over there too, on all those places. So you can check things out over there if you want to. Links to them are, again, in the more. You click on that, it opens up a window. You scroll down to the bottom. You can see everywhere I am there, all on social media and these other places where I write. I post my writing. So that's all there. So anyway, check that stuff out if you want to. You might find something interesting for yourself there. And otherwise, thanks for coming by, and come back again on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.